We were on the show when I was 11.
That's when you started.
Yes, that's the first, that was the first show that we started.
11 is young.
11's young.
You're still a baby.
Yeah. I felt like really stuck.
Wow.
A lot of the responsibility fell on my mom. So then when she passed away, it was kind of like, okay, so what do we do now? There's a purpose to our pain.
Yeah.
And obviously that comes with power, and how we use that power is important.
Your time is now.
Amen.
So
I love that.
excited for you.
Yes. Someone be like, yep. I needed that one.
Welcome back to Pain to Power. I am your host, Kayla Cardona. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to remind you to hit that follow button and subscribe. Your likes, shares, comments, and 5-star reviews are crucial. They help the show reach more people and make a bigger impact. I'm dedicated to bringing value and helping as many people as possible, and your support makes that happen. Additionally, I'm currently seeking sponsors for the show, so if you or anyone that you know is interested in partnering with Pain to Power, let's connect. You can send me a message on Instagram at paintopowerpod or email me at paintopowerpod@gmail.com. Now, without further ado, let's get into our next episode. She is a dynamic media personality, entrepreneur, and host of the Overcomfort podcast, where she sparks bold conversations on self-love, body positivity, and mental health. As the youngest daughter of the legendary Jenni Rivera, she has forged her own path using her platform to inspire and empower others. Her journey of resilience and transformation, marked by overcoming personal challenges, has truly made her a beacon of authenticity and strength. She truly embodies the spirit of Pain to Power. Please welcome the one and only Jenicka Lopez.
That was so beautiful. Thank you. That was a great intro. Wow. I'm going to just steal that next time. I'm like, there you go. No, but thank you. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you for driving all the way down over here. I appreciate you.
You did it first. Gotta return the favor. No, but I'm really excited. But it's an honor to be here. And, you know, it's a lot different. The roles get reversed. And now you get to ask the questions. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. So I absolutely adore you. Like after our episode together on your show, I was like, gosh, I really need to really dig deep. I know I wanted to ask you all the questions.
Yeah.
Like when you're a host of your own show and you go on someone else's show, like you're trying so hard to hold back from not being the one to lead the conversation, right? Sure. But anyways, I'm just so glad you're here, and thank you for coming to the beautiful OC.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, let's we have so much to cover today. Oh, girl, you've been through it.
Been through it, still going through it, but we're there. We're good.
Yeah, and what blows my mind is how young you are. But you have gone through so much, and it's allowed you to mature in such a way that most people cannot say for themselves. And with that being said, you have a favor over you. I just want to say this. Yeah. God has such huge plans for you. You have an anointing on you.
Amen. I receive
and
it.
He is going to use you. He's doing it now.
Amen.
But he's going to take you on whole different levels. Okay. And after the show, I have a message for you.
Stop, because if we're doing this right now, I'm gonna cry and I can't.
It's okay. Well, we can cry on the show.
Go.
I'm just gonna
go for it. We're going into it.
Yeah, we're going into it. Keep saying yes. Listen to him and don't run away. Ooh, I feel him right now, girl. He do not run away from him. He needs you. And he just wants a relationship with you. Bring all your bad, bring all your good, bring all your frustration and confusion. If you do not know what to do next, you need to go to him. He just needs you to say yes, because your time is now. And he is going to continue to bless you, and he's going to give you everything that you want. Everything that you want. but you have to keep running after him.
Yeah.
And you need to be more in the word. You need to open your Bible more.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I think over time, and as a Christian, I think we overanalyze obeying and hearing God. And I think as I get older, it's like it changes, it shifts. It's like, okay, now I need to do a little bit more or maybe a little bit less, like not overstrain myself to overcomplicating God, because that's not God.
No.
Like, so now that I'm getting older, I've learned to and I receive it completely because, there's things that I pray about and there's like, what's my next move? Like, what do I want to do? And I think I'm in the season of really listening and just keeping my mouth shut and just kind of like, okay. And now I'm learning to really see like, okay, that's God. This is God. This is God. Yep. So I receive it. Thank you so much.
And keep praying to bring the right people in your life. I feel like there's still people around you that is hindering where you need to go. So I would also pray for bringing the right people into your life, getting rid of the people that are not of God, and to strengthen your discernment, to know who needs to leave and being able to receive. The fact that you're already open to receiving is incredibly important because God says, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
It's time. Sure. It's your time. Your time is now.
Amen.
I'm so
I love that.
for
yes. I'm gonna soak in on my 2-hour drive home and be like, yep. I needed that one.
I love this. Okay. Let's start with where you're from, where you grew up, and I mean, all of it.
Yes. Well, fair warning, everybody. It is a long journey. I am 20. I'm turning 27.
When's your
Mentally, I feel October 3rd.
October 3rd
yes,
is coming up. Oh my goodness.
Mentally, I feel like I don't even know because I've never been that age, but I feel like I'm a lot older, like maybe like 30 something.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because of everything that I've gone through, and I'm grateful for all the experiences and everything that, all the whole journey. I was born in Long Beach, California. I am the youngest girl of 5 siblings. I have a little brother. I have an older brother and 2 older sisters. My mom was also, in the beautiful introduction, she was Jenni Rivera. She is Jenni Rivera. We had a family reality show. So majority of my life was very displayed out on TV since I was about, I want to say 12. My dad passed away when I was 12. Then my mom passed away when I was 15. We had my siblings and I ended up taking over the reality show, which obviously was a blessing. But I do feel like there's and I don't know if maybe for you it might be different because you've also had experience on reality TV, but it did hinder a lot of like my childhood and made me insecure in a lot of ways because, it's very public. There's a lot of things, it gives people the open door to judgment, to assume things about you and your life. And
what were the ages of when you were on the show?
If I can remember, I want to say that we were on the show when I was 11.
That's when you started.
Yes, that's the first, that was the first show that we started.
11 is young.
11's young.
You're still a baby.
Yeah.
And you're working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember they would have certain hours. There'd be people on set making sure they can't overwork their hours. Just little details like that. I still went to school.
Wow.
People would obviously, look at me and just question. And obviously, thank God that I was put in a Catholic school. It's very different, but it was also, I just feel like I was not robbed, but I had a lot of things that I couldn't do as a normal kid. And so then that was that. My mom passed away when I was 15. There was obviously no other form of income. So at 15 in my head, I'm like, what am I going to do? I feel like those are things that you worry about once you graduate high school and you go through those waves. I feel like I had to grow up very fast. I had a lot of responsibility because of whose daughter I was and the family that I was raised in. There's things I had to, I don't want to say live up to, but, I had I had things to worry about, people to impress. Getting a normal job was kind of it was difficult because people would know me, and then, I didn't have a normal prom. I couldn't get a job because I didn't have experience in other things. My whole life was also the reality show. That was, how was I going to get a job? Sorry.
Yeah.
How was I going to get a job when my only experience is a reality show? So it was hard in that sense. And then I was, raised with my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of attitudes. It's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of, worrying about how they feel as well. So then I took on the responsibility of being a strong pillar. I've had to bottle up my emotions because they were I wanted to worry about them and focus on how they were feeling and get them through their grieving experience before I could focus on mine.
Which is crazy because usually it's the older ones that think that way. And you being the youngest one, taking on that is a lot.
Yeah, no, obviously nobody asked of me. It was just me, like, as a sister, like, you know what? Like, there's a lot happening here. I don't need my emotions to be, let me focus on this.
Yeah.
Let me focus on them and how they're feeling.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Are you guys pretty close? I know you guys had the show, but like,
thank God we're very, very close.
Good.
Yeah, because when it comes to like my mom's family or, my dad's family, they don't have like the best relationship. And obviously like our huge thing is breaking generational curses and not carrying on that trauma into our family because a lot of them don't talk to each other. My uncles and aunts and all that. So our huge thing is keeping them close and making sure the kids are raised together and, teaching them different, and which I love. And I'm grateful for the experiences that we had when we were younger, because now, I feel like we could feed that into the next generation, which is our, my sister's kids, my nieces and nephews, and, if God wants, my own children.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of, things that I've been put through, like I mentioned, like God made me his strongest soldier before. Like I didn't ask for it, but I'm here and there's a reason. And for moments like this, I'm able to share my experience or share my journey and let people know what I've been through. Even in high school, like I was bullied a lot because of my weight. I've always been plus size, which is another whole generational thing that happened. My mom went through as well. And it bled into her daughters and, physical appearance and the reality show and insecurity, it all just adds up.
Yeah. And
now that I'm older, like I've learned to appreciate my body and love who I am and who God created me to be. So, it's been through a lot. It's been a lot, girl. Yeah. It's been too much that I'm just like, I don't even know where to go next. But it's been a lot.
I mean, would you say, obviously rest in power, Jenni. But would you say that in a sense, her death is what kind of propelled you and your siblings to kind of get closer, get stronger, and realize we need to figure this out?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because we all grew up without our fathers in the picture, a lot of the responsibility fell on my mom. So then when she passed away, it was kind of like, okay, so what do we do now? We're all that we have left. Which in a way, it's like I've learned to love and appreciate my siblings a lot more.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own grieving, healing times, experiences, and it's different for all of us. And for me, it was a lot harder because, you see it, my siblings, my mom passed away when, like me, I'm 26 right now. That's when my oldest sister, that's when my mom had passed away for her. So I always ask her, I'm like, I don't know how I can imagine if my mom passed away right now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time. Like, a lot of things I never got to learn. There's things that we didn't get to see or experience together. But it has propelled a lot of unity, which I'm so grateful for, because I wouldn't want a world without my brothers and sisters
Yeah.
because it's ugly. To have bitterness or hate towards each other, or, we're very open and honest. And I think the foundation of our relationship is God.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Beautiful.
We were raised Christian, but very religious. So I think it started over once I got older, like, a shift in my relationship with God compared to what I was raised on. My relationship grew stronger. All of our relationship, everyone individually, we thank God that it's a basis, and even if it's just simple as praying, like, a lot of people don't read the Bible or get connected as much because of the way that they're raised. And I think that was the case for us. But now that I know what a relationship is like and how to work towards that, I'm so grateful that I knew that before.
What would you say was the biggest thing that you learned going through that grief?
That it doesn't stop. I feel like grief doesn't end. Even today when I was getting ready, I was like, today's the first day of school for a lot of kids. And we have a family group chat, and my sister's kids go to school. And it's like, wow, these are moments. We have a high schooler now. So like, there's moments like that where just like, I wish that my mom was here to see that or experience and kind of just, wow, like your first granddaughter's actually in high school.
Wow.
So there's just little moments like that. It doesn't end. It's something, and I think that falls in line with also anxiety and depression because, I've been through that as well. Obviously, so much has happened that I feel like it's normal to get anxiety and, have some dark times. But it has definitely, it's a part of me now. Like the person that I was when my mom passed away doesn't exist anymore. Or when my mom was here doesn't exist. I had to grieve that person as well and learn how to be a new person without her. And which I'm grateful for. Yeah. I'm grateful because I love who I am today. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I don't think anybody is in the world. But I love who I am and appreciate who I am. And I'm grateful that I'm not in a super dark place that I used to be in. Yeah.
So it doesn't stop, but it sounds like you just get stronger.
Yeah.
And you just get through it. But that's kind of just how life works, right? So I think a lot of people can take a lot from that. Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
And I always tell my friends, because I have a friend whose mom had just recently passed away about 2 to 3 years ago. And she's like, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't. And I'm just like, I don't have the answer for you other than God. I don't have.
That's right.
And like, I don't have a reason for you.
Yeah.
I don't it's literally just God that I'm literally here still alive today.
Yeah.
And God makes his own little ways and makes it all work out for us in beautiful and tremendous ways. And even in that moment, if we don't see it as God, you can come back months, weeks, doesn't matter how long, you could see that it was him and it was always intended. And I think that, grief is just a part of me. And if you can get through it, absolutely 1,000%. Like, it's just learning how to live with it. Like, okay, you're just going to be in my pocket now and we're just going to ride with it. And we learn something every day.
Yeah. That's great. It's almost like you be like when you that's kind of how I teach, like with my mentorships, like with fear, like being in fear, you can sit in the passenger seat, but you don't have control.
Exactly.
I do. So it could be there, the whatever it is that you're going through, grief, anxiety, depression, it could be there. But once you kind of like what you said, like put it in your pocket or put it in the passenger seat, you take the power away from it, and you just learn to like you're here, I get you, but you're not gonna overpower me.
Like, you're living in my world, I'm not living in your world.
There it is. Love it. Absolutely love it. Girl, when I listen to, because I listen to a few, I love your show, by the way. It's just so similar to mine. Like, it's so open and honest and vulnerable and authentic and just all of it. And when I heard you open up about like your dad.
Mm.
First of all, okay. And I'll let you explain it,
Yeah.
but I have a question.
Okay.
When you took the DNA, and she'll explain it, you guys, but
Yeah.
really quick. When you took the DNA test about your dad, was it being filmed on the show?
Okay, no. So there's like 2 different DNA tests. There was the 23andMe just tells you, which is a DNA, it needs your DNA.
Okay.
But it tells you what parts of the what countries you're from, basically, right?
Okay.
So that's how that whole thing started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go back and watch the show.
Yeah.
But
It's
it was
confusing.
a while ago.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. So
Mhm.
I'm like, it doesn't make sense because I just feel like you're different now.
Yeah.
You're a grown up now,
Yeah.
So it's just, it didn't make sense for me to do that.
Yeah.
But that was like the one lingering question I had.
Mm.
So I'll let you tell that story
Okay.
about your dad.
Yeah. So in that sense, we had filmed the reality show. It was just like a little like scene that we were doing. We're like, oh, let's find out like what parts of the country we're from. Like it would be interesting to know like, what parts, who, where. Okay.
Yeah.
A little context. My older siblings have the same dad. And then me and my little brother have the same dad.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to match. They're supposed to give you exactly, me and my little brother are supposed to match.
Yeah.
And it didn't. Him and I had more percentage of African American or some type of African in that sense on the show, on the DNA. And he didn't, which isn't DNA wise, it doesn't make sense. It's like you're supposed to, if we're siblings, we're supposed to have the same thing.
Right.
I let it go off camera. I talked to my sister. I'm like, okay, like what's going on? Like, it really just doesn't make sense. And I had always been, it was a joke in my family within my siblings, like, oh, that you're adopted. Like my older brother, he would always just like joke around about it. And like,
I think that was a common thing in like every family.
Exactly.
Apparently I was found in a dumpster.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just, my mom always joked around about having different dads, like Will Smith, George Clooney, her crushes, all this stuff. Like we would always just kind of like joke around about it. So I never took it like really that serious. So after the show, after that scene, I kind of let it die out. I was like, okay, my sister did mention like, well, there's always been like, like a little rumor in our family that one of the kids isn't, their father's child. Like, okay, cool. Finished high school. Was like, you know what? Like, let's just move on from it.
Was there something that you felt at that moment? Because that right there is like, whoa, wait, what?
In the moment, yes, I felt like it felt uneasy in my stomach, and I was living with my sister and my brother at that time, so I felt like I couldn't really just cry out or, I was sleeping on my sister's living room couch for a while because we just didn't have a place to live for a minute. We were in the process of moving, and that time I was just like, I felt like really stuck.
Wow.
That I wasn't able to express as much. A year later, I felt something like pulling me to like find out. So then I did a DNA test, half sibling DNA test with my brother. My
a year later, girl, I would be on that like
I know
today. I'd be
but
like, what?
God does his thing.
Yeah,
God does his thing, and there's a reason why I just left it alone.
Yeah.
We did that, and then it comes out that we are half siblings, me and my little brother. So then from there, I'm like, well, great.
And you were what age at this point?
Oh my God. I want to say I was like 21.
21.
I want to say something around there.
Wow.
The time goes by so fast. Like my memory just, I start forgetting things. But anyways, me and him ended up doing a DNA test, half siblings, which was very hard on him as well. Because, he really didn't have both of his parents. Like we and him were connected a lot because both of our parents had passed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now he just felt very alone and very like just like there was no one there to support him.
Yeah.
So that was a difficult time. Then it took a while to find out who my biological dad was. I had to take another test and find, other people, and, it was just this whole thing. I didn't discover who my biological dad was until my birthday. I got the other DNA test in Miami. I was sitting on a, I remember with my older brother, and we were sitting, I had taken a whole little boat trip. I think it was I was turning 24, 23, one of those ages. And we were sitting on the pier or port or dock or whatever. And I had gotten the text or the app notification. And I was like, there's no way that this is happening right now. I took a screenshot. Your DNA results are in.
Oh my gosh, my heart's pounding right now.
And I was just like, there's no way. Like,
Whoa.
okay. So then it told me everything and said, you're this percentage, you know, a simplified version of what I needed. This is who you're connected to. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So I was connected to one of his other children. And then I started talking with this person. I was like, okay, like, you know, she's like, I've been looking at you since you were younger on your reality show. And even like, you know, I've seen you, and my mom has even said that you look like him. I was like,
So
okay.
that I guess sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That
yeah,
you were
sibling.
talking to.
I was
Got
talking to
it.
her.
Wow.
So she was her. It was his daughter.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you look like him. You know, but you have other siblings. I don't really talk to him, but this is his name. This is where you can find him, et cetera, et cetera. Ended up finding him on socials and talking to him through there. And he obviously didn't know. He's like, I didn't know. Your mom always told me. Your mom kind of just disappeared on me. It was like a church fling thing. It was a whole little thing.
While
my father, the one that raised me, was in jail. So it was, I don't think it was, you know, a lot of people back then, like they got around. People got around. You know, I always say it about it, like, you know, they did their thing.
Yeah.
So when my dad had gotten out of jail, she said that it was just, I don't want to get into that actually.
It's okay.
But I was a preemie. But the timing didn't add up, and he ended up finding out or knowing.
Okay.
But anyways, I had gotten in contact with my biological dad, and I was like, you know what? Like, I need to know. Like, can we meet? Can we talk? Met him when I came back, and yeah, the rest is pretty much history.
Wow.
That is a relationship that I have been praying about. Obviously, it is not easy, and I've realized when I posted or when I came out with that episode, it is a very normal thing. I think people my age, that's why I'm saying a lot of people back then had, you know, let's say situationships.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate, you know, that part of myself and that story, because I really connected with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have been in the same situation, or mothers that don't know how to tell their kids. And I'll say it again, like, I feel like it's really important to be very honest and to have that open communication with your child before it's too late, because I never had that opportunity. Like, I had to go, you know, people didn't want to tell me. People didn't know. I had to go, you know, I felt like the FBI. Like, I didn't know where to start or, you know, where exactly to go. So I feel like having an open communication with your children and letting them know, like, this is what happened. I think that's more honorable. And that's where I had to work on my relationship with my mother till this day. Like, you know, I can't talk to her. I can't tell her face to face how I felt. I was upset for a bit, you know, because I was kind of left with nothing. I was left with like a huge question mark. You know, and now I understand why she did what she did. It wasn't an easy process. It wasn't something that I don't think she wanted to keep. But again, that is a whole testament of this, my story, and that my mom's story with me is a testament of how faithful God is. Because when she found out that she was pregnant with me, all she wanted was, she kept praying. She's like, I pray she comes out looking just exactly like me, so that he doesn't ask about who the dad is. Or so that way she doesn't have to worry, you know, I just need her to look exactly like me. And literally I came out looking exactly like my mom. And I'm just like, you know, it's whether people believe it or not, I choose to believe, and I know what is true, and I know how faithful God is and how powerful prayer is.
Yeah.
So I know that, you know, God has been working in my life since before I was born.
Yeah.
So these are, you know, these are moments. This is my testimony. This is who I am. And that's why I believe, and I put all my faith in God, and, you know, really truly believing that everything happens in its own time.
Right.
And I found out when I needed to find out, when God wanted me to find out, you know, the reasonings, everything that, you know, my mom had, like I know now. And that's why I just put all my faith and I trust God 1,000%. Beautiful. Like, you know what?
Beautiful.
It may be hard. Yeah. It's going to be very hard. And it doesn't have to be in this instance. If anybody goes through that same type of thing, like, my heart is with that person, and it's not easy. Yeah. You question your identity so much. Ugh. And, you know, and I had dealt with so much insecurity growing up, the reality show, etc. Now this, like, I didn't know who I was. Yeah. And thankfully, like, God revealed himself, and my, you know, with my siblings and experiences as well. Like, I know who I am now, and God has given me that identity, and I know who I am. And they're just moments that you know, I'm not angry about. I've learned to not be bitter about these things, and not wasting my energy or time on things that don't. What is it going to do to me if I'm just angry at my mother or at my father for et cetera, when I can just be living in joy and, you know, understanding and knowing that it's not going to change who I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you had to forgive your mom.
I had to forgive her.
Even though she's not here, which I can relate. My parents are still here, but I had to forgive them for what they did to me without them saying sorry. And I would love for you to speak on that, because there's so much importance in that for people to understand. You're probably never going to get that sorry. And in your case, you didn't even have the opportunity to get that sorry. And not to say that she wasn't going to, she wasn't going to tell you, like, she probably was, you know, but who knows? But you had to forgive her on your own. Yeah. So what would you say to that person that is like, you know, they're so hurt right now, and from someone that they love, a family member, a friend, whoever, but learning to let go and forgiveness is so incredibly important, but so many people cannot do it. Yeah. So what would you say to that person?
I think that healing starts with you. I feel like you're going to stay stuck in this. You're going to stay stuck in the bubble. You're going to stay stuck in this hurt and anger as long as you, like, it starts with you. You have to forgive yourself, forgive that person, and then move forward.
Yeah.
You know, because like you said, you're probably never going to get that I'm sorry or that apology. And maybe you will. Yeah. But I think the most important thing is, if you don't start now, your heart starts getting harder, bitter, darker, and you just have this, you know, this anger. You're building up anger. It's not healthy. It generally isn't. An angry heart starts presenting itself in the body as well. Yeah. You know, you have to start the process of healing, even in grief as well. I think more than anything, like, when someone is going through something difficult and they're expecting a certain apology or, you know, and I'm sorry, or can't move on, the healing always starts with you. And it's probably never going to end. That's another thing. Like, healing doesn't end. You learn something new every day. You go through the process, the waves. It's like a roller coaster. You know, it goes up and down. You're going to be angry one day. You're going to be happy another day. Super angry, super sad. You might want to be in bed. You're having a super great, hopeful day. Yeah. But it all starts with you. Yeah. And you have to go feel the emotions. Right. For sure. Ooh. You have to feel those emotions.
You have to feel it.
It's ugly. Yep. It's so ugly. Every emotion that you feel, but you have to feel it. Yeah. And you have to go through it. Yep. And that's the only way out.
Yep. I'm so glad that you say that because people are scared to feel those.
Mm-hmm.
People that, and they suppress it or they numb it and they go to
Mm-hmm.
other things that are
For sure.
unhealthy to cover it up, and it's just a band-aid.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't want to face it. They don't want to feel it.
You got to rip the band-aid.
Yeah, you got to let it heal, sew it up, whatever. Like it just gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thank you for sharing that. And I know you sharing your story because it's so crazy because when we go through such hard stuff like this, we think we're the only ones going through it and nobody understands.
Mm-hmm.
But when you shared your story, I bet you got so many messages from people saying, that's exactly what happened to me. So to the person that is specifically, I guess, finding out their parents are not their parents, they're half siblings or they're half parent, whatever it is, what would you say to that person to get through it and go through it? Because it's like you said, it's an identity crisis. Like I thought who I was my whole life is not me. What now? So what would you say to that person going through that right now?
I feel like it's different in every situation. You know, like for me, example, I had a great father that raised me. You know, he did what he could. My mom also, she did what she could with the circumstances that they were given. And nobody can take away how good of a father that he was to me. So when my biological father came into the picture, I wasn't expecting him to be an actual father for me, a father figure. And I think that's the one thing that I can say is also not to have expectations on these people. You don't know them.
There it is, yeah.
You genuinely don't know them. You don't know. It's just another stranger that has the title of father, mother, etc.
Yeah.
You know? So expectations is one. Don't have expectations on anyone in general, but specifically in this situation, a father. Do not hold expectations on a father because it is also not their fault.
Yeah.
You know, in my situation,
right?
He didn't know,
right?
And I can't expect him to be somebody in my life when I'm already old enough, grown enough. I make my own money. I pay my own bills. Like I'm not asking or expecting anything.
Right.
So holding expectations, don't have any. And I think understanding your identity outside of that person. It doesn't change who you are. It doesn't.
Wow.
You know, and I feel like that's where me, like I worked really hard on making sure that it didn't change the person who I was, you know, and because I didn't need, I had already been like 10 years without my dad, like around 10, 12 years. And I knew that, you know, so obviously I knew how to live life without a father. I knew how to do it. I knew how to do life without a mother. So it wasn't like I had to heal that part of me, you know, like I needed him to know that I didn't need anything from him. Yeah. I just wanted to know, like, you know, where do you stand in this factor in the play, and, you know?
Yeah.
So again, it's just the expectations, and don't let it change your identity. And I think if you start to feel like it's shifting, if it's changing something in your head, then I feel like running towards your faith, obviously God for me, running towards God, it's the only answer, like truly, to really help you navigate your identity and where do you go from here. And that's the only answer you're really going to get. And the only answers you're going to get are from God, truly.
Yep.
You know, and I had to learn that the hard way too.
Yeah. And most of the time you're gonna learn that the hard way. Yeah. Like that's how God works. God never promised us an easy life. No, absolutely not. Because it's also a test of your faith.
Exactly.
And like you said, you know, he gives the biggest battles to the strongest soldiers. It's like, why did I sign up for the war? How has all these experiences, I can only imagine, affected like your relationships, like your love life?
Oh, well, I haven't really had a love life, so I feel like
That's the answer.
That's the answer. But that's also me as a person. I'm very careful with who I give my heart out to now.
As you should,
Yeah.
because it also says in the Bible for you to
Guard your heart,
guard your
protect
heart.
it. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've learned to just protect it. I feel
Yeah.
like because of the show,
Yeah.
it's been open.
Yeah.
And because my mom, like it's fragile. My heart is too fragile. So I had to learn how to, let's cover it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's make sure, it's too precious. You can't just have, and
It's
maybe I'm
too
doing that
precious.
too much though.
Maybe.
Because now it's very hard for me to trust people, like their
Ooh.
intentions, like,
Okay.
what do you want to,
Gosh, but that's a given.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're going to go through that because of what you've went through and how you grew up in the spotlight, stuff like that. So just to clarify, what it means to guard your heart doesn't mean to build brick walls around your heart and make it hard.
Yeah,
that's not what we're talking about
Yeah.
here. And I want to make that so clear because I think a lot of people do get that kind of mixed up with just hardening your heart because God gives you a new one. Like he softens it. But guard your heart, meaning, like you said, you treasure yourself and your heart, and it is very precious, and you do need to protect it.
Yes.
And not allowing certain people in. So, so you say, let's unpack that a little bit as far as not trusting people. Because I do feel, this is what I'm sensing sitting with you right now. Your level of discernment is actually higher than the average. And I know you're able to figure out who to let in and who not, which is another reason why I think you and I have connected and you've allowed me in your space, and vice versa. So you do have a sense of knowing who to let in and who to let out. So I want to unpack a little bit about what do you mean by I have a hard time trusting people, because your judgment is good.
Yeah. You know what? It's been since I've been younger. I think, people are really good at manipulating or they just put on a face and it's like really good at convincing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by trusting people. It's like also love bombing. When people love bomb you, where they just give you so much love and then they switch it, it's like that's happened to me.
Yeah.
So that's where I mean we're trusting people. Like,
yeah.
And that's why I'm so protective over my heart. I'm currently reading a book where it says guarding your heart obviously doesn't mean putting a wall up. Is how much access are you going to give these people?
Yeah.
Because it's a responsibility. I'm literally giving you my heart. I'm letting you into my home, which is also another safe space. It's like I'm very particular about who goes into the house and energy, and just, if you're not on the same vibe as me, we're not, like, sorry. So maybe that's why I'm saying, like, I'm too much. I protect it too much, but then there's no other way to be. Like, I feel like I don't know who is good or who's bad. Like, yes, my discernment is, but sometimes my heart can deceive me as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's like I have to be very mindful and just, think about everything in specific ways. And that kind of, it kind of sucks because, like I don't want to have to just question everybody's intentions.
Yeah.
I want to be able to fall in love. I do want to meet the love of my life and, be able to have someone pray over me, like pray for my life and connect and,
You mean the significant
yes,
others to pray over you to have that relationship.
Yes, exactly.
with God.
Exactly. So it's just, there's just things that it's a good and a bad, trusting people and letting people in your life. And, I'm happy and I'm content with the circle that I have right now. I have people that are on my side and love God and more importantly are there to support me emotionally, if anything. And they're people that I trust and I give access, my life, my heart access to.
Yeah.
So it's just being, I gotta stop being a little too specific about people. I don't know. It's hard. It's a back and forth thing.
Wait, when you say specific, do you mean like standards?
I don't want to say standards.
Okay.
But like, yeah, picky. In significant others and then friendships as well. Like,
yeah.
Like it's just a back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, it's trusting. It's when you've been in like this industry also in LA, like you just don't know. You really, really, really do not know.
Yeah, no, it's very, very true. I felt that one. No, that's true. That and that it is. I don't want to speak. I gotta be careful about how I speak.
I know.
Because
exactly.
Yeah, I know. Because like I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying like, oh, it's hard, but it's. Yeah, but no.
Yeah, I get you. It's hard to explain, but it's like, like, do I really want to do this? Do I?
But like you said, the answer is God, and you seek first God and His righteousness, and everything else will be added to you. Exactly. So, you know, like I said in the beginning of our episode, just keep running after Him. Keep running after Him, and He will provide. Yeah. And there's a reason why it's not your moment quite yet, because you have so much you need to do, so much you need to do for Him in the glory of God. I'm just curious, do you go to a church?
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, which church do you go to?
Freedom Church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wait,
it's
I think
by
you already
my
told me
house.
that. Oh, I think you already told me that. Did you? I don't know if we talked about that on your episode, but okay, good. Ooh. You might meet him there.
Maybe.
Ooh.
You know.
Okay. I'm gonna pray for you.
For me. Pray for it.
But there's so much like that you have got going on, right? What so what's happening next for you? What's been on your heart? Like where are you going? What's next for you?
Oh my goodness. There's so many things, and that's where I'm really leaving it in God's hands and plans, because I know that I want to do so many things.
Yeah.
But they might be really silly or little compared to what God has, you know?
Yeah.
For me. So what I want right now, I do want to open a nonprofit foundation. I recently saw that you went on your trip, which looked beautiful. It's so much fun. But I do want to be able to open a nonprofit, whether it's for foster children. I always have a heart for just children in general. So maybe like in that sense, some way supporting children. I want to be able to take time for myself. I feel like I've grown up very fast.
Yeah.
And I haven't really enjoyed life how I should be enjoying life. Like I didn't get to have like a normal prom, no father-daughter dances, no things like that. And I know like those things are little, but they're really impacted my life. So for me, I think is time for myself, but also spending time with my nieces and nephews.
Okay.
And not missing out moments there.
Yeah.
You know? And I think just spending time with my family and not having a camera in front of us.
Ooh.
Or, you know, I'm really praying for peace for my family this year. Whatever that may be, whatever that looks like, I just want us to like, I'll take like a deep breath and just like, finally.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like we've all, like I said, the grieving doesn't stop. And I feel like it's a constant reminder, you know, that she's not here and that our fathers are not present or available. So I think that all aligns. And I speak for me and myself and my siblings because they're really just, that's all I have. They're my world. So peace, a nonprofit, and just really focusing. And I don't know, I think this year, I really want to fall in love this year. I think that's like one of my things. And I've never used to say that. Like I've never
heard you say that.
I know. And then it's like, I really want to, like, I'm getting to an age that I feel like I want to meet that someone, you know, and I don't want to waste my time. Like, I know that I'm turning 27. I know I have a lot of time and a lot of years ahead of me, but I just feel like I don't want to waste my time anymore. Like I have too much going on where just, if you're not if we're not going to mesh together, like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
you know? So
Okay.
there's just, I think this year, or just in general for the future, is just focusing on me.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been worrying and focusing on everybody else for a long time, that
Yeah.
I really just want to like travel and just enjoy everything that I've worked hard for now.
And that's beautiful. And I'm really glad that you shared that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Because I think for people like us that are entrepreneurs, that have businesses, and especially being surrounded by your family that is go, 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 like, you know, shows and all that, it's actually okay to just sit still.
Yeah.
And enjoying your quiet time.
Yeah.
And being in that
For
peace and accepting that peace. It sounds like you're in this season of just receiving.
Yes.
Ready to receive, which is so good and so important for people to hear. It's okay to just want to spend time with the family and just allowing God to just guide you in the right direction, and He will speak to you.
Yeah.
He will tell you what's next.
Yeah.
So that I love that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
I have you read the book of Esther?
Parts of it, yes.
Okay. I would study the book of Esther. It's not that long.
Yeah.
But you'll see why. Study it, because she was put in places of power. Like, you have your platforms, like you have a huge audience following that is watching you, that love you and support you. There's a reason for that. So I would study the book of Esther and just really understand, because God has positioned you in a higher power for a reason. And I wouldn't worry about wasting time, because you're not. It's okay to be in your peaceful stage right now. As a friend, I will say this, and I'm going to say this in front of everyone, because as I'm learning and growing, obviously, like, because if you go a couple episodes back, I would have said this. But as you guys know, as I learn and grow, I want you guys to learn and grow with me. Don't go hunting for someone, because I know you're ready for love. And being in that receiving end, beautiful. Stay there and keep chasing God, and He will deliver. But right now, it's like he's saying you have work to do. Yeah. And I'm going to give you this, and then He will come.
I always sounds like, God, just prepare me. Yay. Prepare me for whatever's coming. And that's in everything. Yeah. You know? Like, absolutely. Love. Yeah. Financial opportunities, family, anything. Like, just continue to prepare me for what you have coming for me. Yes. Which is a huge lesson that I'm learning. So yeah. Yes. Definitely. Eyes are focused, eyes are locked in. We're opening. The door's open now. Yeah. So yay. I'm just not stepping outside. So you better come through that door. Yeah. No. And our Heavenly Father, He is infinitely abundant. Yes. So anything that's on your heart, He will provide. Amen. Yes. Oh, it's a list. He knows. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no limit to what God can do. Amen. There is nothing. You stick with that. You keep your standards high, girl. He will deliver. He will give you everything that you want. Yes. Obviously within His time. For sure. Whenever. But as we wrap it up, I do ask all my guests the same question. In your definition, what does pain to power mean to you? Ooh, in my definition, a lot of pain, but also a lot of power. And I think it's a lot of responsibility. I think that's in a movie, right? With great something. I think it was a superhero movie. But you know what? I do believe that there's a purpose to our pain. Yeah. And obviously that comes with power, and how we use that power is important. Yep. You know, I don't want mine to go to waste. I've been blessed enough, and I'm able to come here on platforms like this to be able to share that testament and everything that I've been through, and, you know, use it for good. Yep. Use your power for good. And your pain was painful, but your power has more story to it. Oof. So. But I love what you just said, like, more the pain, more the power. Yeah. Like, that's so true. More strength. Yeah. Ooh, that strength. Nothing can hurt me now. So,
but it's such a liberating place to be. You know, it's like, okay, you can throw anything at me at this point. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Next, what's new?
Exactly. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Jenicka. You are such a light, and you just shine. And there's just, like I said, you're so special.
Thank you.
God has huge plans for you, and I cannot wait to see what He has next for you.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for inviting me and for being able to connect with you on such beautiful things. So thank you.
Thank you. You guys, if you loved this episode just as much as I did, and you know it's going to help someone else, please share, like, subscribe, all the things, and I will see you in the next one.